This meeting is being recorded.
There it is, the 50th episode of the Goals Strategy Workshop. And I'm going to zoom this over here. You're good to go. So it should be back to you now, right?
All right.
Sure what up? Oh, yeah, okay.
No.
All right, so this is our 50th edition overall, but we have a good episode here. I think, what did you say? It was 56 options to combos to consider?
Yep. So an incredibly low starting number.
As everyone should know, I am Matt Riley, I'm the host, and our expert here, the guru, Michael Cook, is here. Although I have a new nickname, King of Trios. Right. One IWAR six-man win.
Yep.
Usain Bolt in it. All right, so what do we I am a nerd. What's our plan of attack here? Do we have a
Do you feel like they should have at least listed you first on the six mans and not like the 19th team?
I'm the last team. I was the last team.
That's what I'm saying.
And I might send a grievance letter to Johnny B and be like, I don't ask for much, but as king of the trios, I deserve more respect. No, I've seriously though, I've been chasing that six-man championship for a long time with the Von Schnapps. And I came close. I had like a 520 a few times with Victor. But thanks to the Gold Strategy Workshop, my trio strats have improved a lot. And I'm getting there. So that was the first. So I've got a better idea now of how I'm putting my strats together. So if I can figure out a few things and flow it right, it'll be happy days are here again. Get those 15 free matches.
Yep. those add up. I'm at 452. I think that's my free match count right now.
Like, let me call my Cayman Island account.
Getting a little nervous. That's pretty low for me. At one point, I was over 900.
Now, here's a question. I've told players this before. If you back up, let's say you have 50 free matches, and you're hurting for money, then you could just do like $5.
I did that for an entire year,
and then just throw a boatload of free matches.
Yeah, I had like 15 wrestlers in 6 leagues, so one per fed, and I played that entire year $30 a cycle.
No,
and because it took a decent amount of free matches, but I'd saved up the year before when I was spending 12, and yeah, you can do it. It's a great way to save some money.
I work with a guy. I think I've talked about this in the other show, but I work with a guy who we didn't know at the time, but he entered the NWL, and this guy was in the game, and we got to talking, and he mentioned you work at Trader Joe's. I'm like, I work at Trader Joe's. And he's like, oh, I'm in Boston area. I'm in the Boston area. So we worked at like stores about 5 miles from each other, whatever it was, pretty close. And of course, our wrestlers had a feud. And of course, they had the Trader Joe's death match. So at work, he turns to my store. And he comes up to me and he goes, what were the drops in iron? So long story short, he's coming back to the BWL. So, but he's on a budget. He's like, I get a lot of money and he's working a lot of jobs. I'm like, well, BWL is a good way to go. It's $5 a month, flat. You get 6 matches, you get a battle royal entry, and a lot of fun, or hopefully a lot of fun.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, I think it is.
Anyways, we're working hard on it. So picking up where we left off,
right.
Should we do our post-mortem quick review of last cycle? What went wrong? What went right?
Not a whole lot went wrong.
was right, but the back end, the Arn Anderson,
yeah. Well, we narrowed it down. How to look back, it's like 6 fronts, right? Yeah, I think it was 6 fronts last cycle we had, maybe 8, but pretty sure we had it down even further than that. And yeah, we had the front. They got me right here though. It didn't look like the 43-2 would go a third in a row. It did though, and that killed me when I took that on every one. And 4 points off of anything, it really hurts.
I think one of the things about this game that really I would say is the maddening parts is it's a trend now. Ride it till it dies, and like, okay, so players are thinking, well, it can't go 43-2 again, can it? Could, But I do think, like this show, I think helps me a lot to narrow it down to like, okay. And like last cycle, I had the front jump combo right. My back end was a horrible mess. And I went and diversified my 13s with like 61s and 62s. I should just gone all 42s. Sorry, I meant 41s, 42s.
Yeah.
So gonna go all 42s this cycle and bite that bullet. So of course 42s will stop.
Right,
24, 25 cycles in a row.
Don't bet against. Yeah, you can't bet against them at this point. Let's see, where are they? Back 5 trend. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, we're on 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, 22 in a row. It's got to stop eventually. And that's something that's been happening more, not this extreme, but like that 43-2 that we were looking at here. Things that have never happened. It's almost like over time they want to balance it out a little bit, and so it'll happen more frequently all of a sudden. And that's usually when I kind of struggle for a cycle or two because I don't accept it at first. But the 42s are they're happening.
It's a happening, as Gorilla Monsoon would say. So let's see what our gusto.
So we know 44-1 is going to be what we keep because that is hold 90. So just ignore 66 altogether. You put 90 here. And then we have 42, as we just discussed.
Right.
That would be 62 or 85. And the back 5. So Iron has really loved 42.1, 42.1. Then it's not been as consistent here. It's actually true of the others too. They've been more mixed. Looks like 42.1 overall has had more.
Yeah. I just think that's the hard part of the 42 is that you play the wrong one, you're taking a 3-point hit.
You could hope that there was one of these where it was like 44 and 43 off of them.
Yeah.
But most likely you're taking a 3-point hit off of that. One thing doesn't look like 42-2 has ever hit 2 in a row on this list, but again, with like the 43.2, some of those things are changing right now.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't confidently say which one. I'll probably, 4 singles, I'll take probably 2 of these if I can narrow down the 43. But I'm a little nervous about taking 43-2 still. So, there's a good chance that then if I feel really good about one of these drops up here, I'm just going to take all 4 backs. That's the good thing about having it at 4.
Yeah.
You can actually do that. But that's where, like I said, the past few cycles I've been getting killed just missing one of these holds.
Right.
So this way, one of my 4 will at least have a perfect back. So if 42 hits, I guess. Not guaranteed, but yes, it's pretty close.
26s, baby.
Yeah. So take 90. If you're brave enough to think this will go 4 in a row, which I really don't know, but as you see, they really like to have trends, it seems, that just kind of go. Maybe that they're compensating for, what was this, 9 in a row that just got to balance back out.
Right.
It's like they forgot to put, 1 here, 1 here. And now they're just scrambling to put a few in.
Well, it's all these idle employees on vacation. They're hurting us.
No. You say hurting, but we got a Fed at 11 a.m. today. That's pretty impressive.
Wow. Well, it was steel, right? There's what, 6 people playing that iteration?
Pretty much.
So
I think Iron's technically lower than it. It's only the second lowest active Fed. So
we can offer a tip of the cap to Will Wisdom retiring as the AWL commissioner. Breaking news. You heard it here second. So Who will be the new commissioner of AWL? Bum, bum, bum. All right, so our back end, I guess you just decide between, so what was well, I should say this, is 62, I'm sorry, 65 is the 43-1 and 61 is the 43-2.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, 61 is one of those holes that I always think is like, oh, here it comes, it's going to be the 61 train, and then it like derails like right away, like, no, we're all going to laugh at you.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's tough. It is a really good hold.
Yeah, it was good for a while. It was terrible for a long time, then good for a while, then bad again, and good again.
See, a lot of these back holds, especially, it's like when they do stumble a little bit, it just kind of goes up and down for a few cycles. Then you see miss 2 here.
Yeah.
Pops 1 up, then goes down, and then it's fine again. But I mean, this one doesn't exactly look great either. Yeah.
This is that way where we talk ourselves in and out of a hole.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm at a point where I really don't want to have to make any of these decisions on the back. So I'm going to make them on the front. Live with it. All right. Now let's look at that front.
With our
last cycle's drop. Yeah. Last cycle's drop from 2 cycles ago, the previous cycle then was one that didn't hit at all. And as you see, that's actually the most common occurrence. So it's good to see that happen. A couple cycles ago, we had those 2 bronze, but then we had, I think it was a jade and this. So we were back to the right side of it.
Right.
A 25 from 2 cycles ago, it hit again. So we're back on a little streak here.
Yep.
Could get one to drop, but I feel good that we're going to get a few more cycles out of that. So I went ahead and highlighted those up here. 2 cycles ago, the 25s were 1 and 31.
Right.
It is interesting this time. Last time it was over just 2 of the the combo drops, but this time it's actually over 5. So I thought that was pretty neat. But even before we take this step, there was only 14 fronts and 4 backs, so 56 total. If we are confident, which, like I said, pretty good consistency here, so we can narrow it down, and we get down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we just cut that from 56 to 28.
Oof.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
And Johnny B says, "Oh yeah, 28s." Oh!
And I could live with it. I'd live with that. But again, as I've said the past few cycles ago, I don't think we're going to see another double drop this year. So I will not take one, and I'll be okay. Iron was 27th. Okay, so that's out of here. Still, they did that overlap again.
I called it again. Which not really, but
as you see, that's so this is a still chart like we just saw. That happening gold is getting stronger. It's the second most popular thing to occur in still.
Bum, bum, bum.
So if you're in still, definitely keep that on your list right now. And we should mention too, it was 29-26. So go ahead.
It's not this cycle, but the next cycle is the UWL returns, right?
Yeah. So the 29th, we're 2 weeks away? So, we're going into the gold week. So then you have the bronze week, and then it's the week after that. So 3 weeks from now, that Tuesday.
I'll be giving an operation that day. So when I come out, what happened in Iron? This man's delusional. Give him more medicine.
I hate that it's in Iron, but I'll live with it.
Yeah,
Just means I got
I
to
feel like
do
they
a little
must
more work.
stick it in the Fed that like doesn't do well or like is not that popular. I hate iron.
I think it's intentional because most people, if they play in there, they're going to play in a regular league. So it's maybe a clever way to try to get people to join a few of the iron
Yeah.
leagues. So maybe
Some
they know
players
what
have been
they're
asking about it, so it's like, all right. So we're down now to our 5, and you think no 28, or actually, does it 31 in there give it tempting or no?
To me, it doesn't. Like I said, I feel strong enough to where I was showed, we kind of hit our quota. That I'm just going to not play it on the concern that I'm going to miss terribly if I do, so I can live without doing it. And
so one thing I was wondering about too, like you think like, okay, so if that means like, does that mean like, could 46 now come up because, it's like, I always feel like if I took it out of this one, like, okay, well, if we're saying 28s are out, that means those holes are viable. So what will they do? Maybe 31 actually isn't viable because that's only one of the 25 drops. But is 46 going to be the one like goes up,
mm-hmm.
Ponderings. So here's our 4.
And if you look, let's see. Yep. Sorry. I want to go look at those 2 cycles ago 25s just so we can show both of them. The first one being number 1 just came off a back-to-back of this occurring. Had it occur here. You almost feel like it's got to let up a little bit.
Right.
That's a lot. And the other one was 31 for the 28. It's not looking that much better. It's happened. Is it going to do the same thing here?
I almost wondered that it would do like, okay, well, 31 will go up to down to 25. 1 will go up to like 29, because I feel like they do have a way of like saying, okay, you want to do this game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Those are my pills. I already took them. Yes, I have to have an alarm for my phone to remind me to take my pills because I forget every so often. And if I don't take my pills, my lupus goes berserk. So it's not fun. Anyways, you were saying.
Yeah, they both are pretty terrible holds right now.
Now, would you say we should probably expect kind of a side issue, but we haven't had a curveball cycle in like 2 years. Was it 2019 the last time we had the crazy cycle? Because it wasn't during the pandemic.
What type of crazy cycle?
Where like a 25 or sorry, 26 goes down to 24 and 24 comes to 25 or whatever. Like when they kind of reset.
So you're talking on the front side, not the 42s to 45 that
Correct.
happens.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember because when the last time it happened, I saw it happen in iron steel, and with cash, I had the 499 because I played the odds and like went with like what I thought might happen. Actually worked out well.
It happened here. Cycle number 8 of 2019.
Right.
And it was even more brutal that they repeated drops. 27, 26 happened in 3 out of 6 feds. So yeah,
Dick move, bro.
cycle.
Johnny, what are you doing?
Yeah, they did it. They did it a second time that year too. Second cycle of 2019. You see the 26s. Something happened there. I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, this happened twice in 2019.
Just got to figure it's got to be out there at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know when before that was the last time it happened, but like before 2019. I know it happened at some point.
2 times in 2018.
Okay. It's just sitting there like a shark in the water, an alligator.
Not 2017. Yeah. 2018, 2019, they kind of started doing it.
I don't think they got complaints about it or something like that. And they were like,
they get complaints about that a lot.
But I always feel like when people complain about stuff, it's like, well, you complain about the game not being so easy. You need to be more challenging, and then you do that, and it's like, like you have 5 more feds. It happens, steel or an iron. It happened. It's almost like the bell's been rung. We all been warned, but I think it's gonna be a next year thing. That's my guess.
Yeah. The good news is when it happens, Aaron kind of has a terrible time with it, and then everybody else can see what happens and move on pretty easily. So it's not that bad.
So we're down
right.
to
Yep.
Now my first guess, my instinct pick was last time was 28-27. This time was 27-26. Not that I think it might happen, but do you ever look at when it comes to the combos that are available, like I used to track it a lot better, more efficiently than this, but do you look and see what pairings dropped? So for instance, if I said, okay, well, 27-26, 1 and 5 dropped the exact same 1 and 5 dropped together like 3 cycles ago. And then would you go, or would you go,
Yeah, I do. I'll look at like the last 2 or 3. I don't try to go back much further. There's maybe a little value in it. I've just never done it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always glance. So like, yeah, we know that based on, the ones we highlighted, it was 1 and 31. Cycle before that was 5 and 53. And 31, 46.
Right. Well, that was actually 28s. 31-47.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah, exactly. So
but
another reason to roll it out.
Right. But I also feel like too, it's also a thing where it's like, well, it's 28s. It was whatever many 31, 40, whatever many cycles ago. But also I have a feeling like you might see a split where 31 goes down and 40 just goes up. So that makes 59, 31, 31, 8, 31, 5 more appealing. So it's like, okay. But I mean, again, like we were talking like earlier before the show about, forecasting for next year and like how you spend your strats. Like right now I have in the BRL 4 singles wrestlers pretty much, actually 5. So, but going into next year, well, the Von Schnaps, if I'm going to be a 6-man trio with them, I'm not going to be successful as a tag team, not in the leagues as competitive as these are. I've got to have a team that's dedicated just to tag teams. So both leagues, I'm like, okay, how can I do this? So when players ask about like, well, I want to win all these titles, that's great, but like focus on like doing either tag or singles or 6-man. And like Darren always says about, buddy up, get some other players and like form a trio together, flow your strats together. You have a good shot of a 6-man trio winning, but you're not going to, keep yourself from winning singles either.
Because it's really tough in a league like the BRL when you have to use 50% of your roster to hit that 6-man. It just doesn't leave you with much.
I'm with the Von Schnaps, and I have 3 guys left in the league, so it's like, okay, what do I do now? Damn kids. Now, if I'm looking at this correctly, so you have 29-28 went down in bronze.
Yep.
And went down in J was 29-27. So gold means, the yellow means it did not drop at all.
Exactly.
So if I'm going to go, like sell me on the idea of drop or picking the league that didn't drop, what was the advantage of that? Is there an advantage to that?
The one that didn't drop?
You're right. Like, it's like, oh, well, Jade,
most common.
27-26.
Yep. So it's the most common, but it did happen last cycle. Which, let's see. Trying to think of which one I'm at. Yeah, I guess we got to go here. I was hoping.
Your spreadsheet is the Indiana Jones Museum at the end of the where he's putting the arc away. That's like the spreadsheet here.
No, I thought I wrote this one out too. This is still, so don't copy it for what's happening here. I was kind of curious, knowing that we like certain ones. Is it often occurring that it came from the same Fed multiple times in a row? In the case of Still, you see we had a lot of these repeating here, but outside of that, it was not common.
Yeah.
So I think you can't rule out that didn't hit, but I feel pretty good if a Fed, like we're not going to take, if Iron was last cycle and that's what hit gold, and then next cycle is probably not going to happen again. We did have it break rules recently when bronze had 2 in a row. That was incredibly rare though, because that was also one of the lower ones. But
okay,
I do think, like I said, if you look, it can be more common that if something's going to hit again, it's going to be this one.
Okay.
I kind of like 29, 28s in general. Maybe not. I've not convinced myself on it in gold. I'm thinking it's more of a diamond one. But similar to what we've been talking about on several things, over time it's going to hit. And it had that really terrible stretch that doesn't happen on a combination drop like that, where it did 4 in a row. And then it had jade and it had bronze. So odds are it's not going to be jade or bronze again unless they break the other rules that we typically know are pretty strong. And 1 and 2 back, it's not going to hit.
Right.
So that leaves it either dropping again for a 7th time this year, which is just crazy, or it's got to happen, next week. One of those two. So it is tempting. I'm just not fully convinced that it'll be gold.
Is there a like we mentioned before, like with doubles, right? So at a certain point, you go, they've hit this many doubles in a year, so it's probably good for the year. Is there a number of times you're like, oh, if 29, 28's hit like 7 times, it's good for the year? Versus, this is more of a macro version versus playing the strats. But
yeah,
still
it's I would say like 2 or 3. I think it's 29, 26. It's happened 1, 2, 3. It's happened 3 times. So it's happening way more than it should. And for that reason, no, it's not even on here. Good. Yeah. I was thinking, it shouldn't happen again this year either. Odds are you won't see doubles again. You won't see 29, 26 again. So just kind of keep those in your mind in case of tiebreakers for the next cycle or two.
Right. And that's the thing I was thinking it comes down to is eventually at a point where you're like, okay, what's my logic? Like the logic for 28s, okay, well, it's hit enough times. 3146 dropped together not too long ago. I do think a 31 is going to drop. I'm also itching like 1. Am I looking at 1 going, 1?
Let's see.
12 and 8 are paired up. It's a dick combo. 12 is a dick.
Let's see. So gold, last cycle, like I said, it was one that didn't drop at all. The one before that was a jade. Then we had a bronze. Then we had a bronze. Then we had an iron. And then we had an iron. So, okay. There was 2 where it did it back to back. Then it was nothing. Then it was nothing. So that's 3 times it's been back to back. That was actually 3 in a row off of not having hit previously. 4 in a row that hadn't hit previously. And then another iron. And then another that didn't hit previously. So yeah, you see that's been huge this year on the ones that didn't hit previously. I kind of do like the 27, 26 for that reason. And I kind of like 29, 27. So I guess I'm saying I like that a 27 is going to drop. So let's go look at those 27s. That's 12 and 1. 1 still scares me a little bit. Like I said, I'm not sold that it's going to be 1 or 31.
As far as
being the 25 from 2 cycles ago that dropped.
Not sold. All right.
But so I wanted to look at 12.
Damn 12. Damn 12 to hell. Got our timer going.
Oh, okay.
Everybody showed us abruptly ending.
We should be pretty good.
Yeah.
Just looking at the random things.
But again, like I said, like, oftentimes I'll sit there and I'll like, especially earlier in the year, I would find that I would sit there and go, okay, I've got the right combo, the right pairing, but I picked the wrong end of the spectrum. I went, so, that's where these kind of things come into play. And I would say, if you're watching this show and you're like confused or high, it's gonna be hard to swallow. So we are going to at some point work on the actual how to win. That's gonna be a lot easier to digest. Make it easier to absorb.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. These are all pretty close right now. I guess the one I don't really like is 28-26, but you said you like that 31 dropping, didn't you?
Well, it's, again, I always talk about players doing this themselves. Talk yourself into one particular combo or hold, and then go, nope, that's shit, and here's my alternate choice. And if you have two wrestlers and one covers this base, one covers that base, in theory, if your back five is solid, you're going to have something to cheer about. But I was going off the 31s in the sense of, okay, if you see a 28 splits, the 28 is going to hit 30, right? So you go 46 goes to 30, 31 goes down to 25. It's the ups and downs, right? But that's not set in stone. It again could very well be the exact opposite,
Realistically, if you can pick between 1 and 31, you go down to 3 fronts. If you happen to have 6 wrestlers, you then can make one of these two decisions, pick a 43 or a 42, and you can cover all 3 fronts with the 2 backs. So there's give. You're gonna have to make a decision somewhere. It's kind of the point where you get to pick which one of those you want.
Right.
But yeah, that's the neat part. Like I said, I've been gambling on using 2 or 3 fronts, and I keep missing on the back. So I'm inclined to want to do more backs and hope I get the front figured out of the few options. So I'm probably leaning towards 27-26, I think. Maybe 29-27. So I'm thinking I just like one dropping over 31.
Yeah. And that, the difference too is that one would be the 25 on the backside, that, the up and down, right? But 31 would be third cycle in a row, or third, back to back to back. So,
but I think that's pretty much it. That's, like I said, or you can just go to a non-limit league, cover all of these. It's that easy.
Head on over to the blank L. Give it a go.
The snake venom league, isn't that it?
Now the important question here is, what's your favorite Thanksgiving side, and why is it stuffing?
Is it? Can I count if it's mashed potatoes and gravy and stuffing?
Oh, mixed.
And some beans in it and some corn.
I'm with you on the corn. The beans I would not do, but that the old swirly.
Yeah, it just keeps kind of blending together. And
do you host or do you visit?
Visit. Yeah, we have to do that thing where we go to like 3 places.
Oh man,
not really crazy about that part, but it's all right.
Well, I always tell people, if you're hosting, do a cover charge, make your money back.
Yeah.
Like $20. And if you have one relative you don't like a lot, like it's like, oh, it's 40 this year, it's a tough year, and they'll not come back anymore.
Yeah, we go to both sides of my wife's family. They don't really want to eat dinner together, so they each. Oh. They at least are willing. One does lunch, one does dinner. But
okay. Well, is it 3 games this year, football wise?
It's typically 3. Yeah.
You get playing at night.
You get Dallas, you get a Detroit game, and it's usually like a Green Bay game, right? Is that the 3 teams that, or Chicago? It's
Green Bay or Chicago. I think I forget who we're playing, but it's all right. I was always curious about, what people do. Like some people's like our Thanksgiving's gonna be about 25 to 30 odd people, depending.
Yeah, I think that's about what each of these are. So it's probably good that it wasn't. I don't think you could fit everybody in one. Anyway,
well, just when I was a kid, it used to be about like 12 of us, so we always went home with like days worth of leftovers, which is great. Now it's like you go home with like almost nothing, if at all. And that's a bummer. So then you end up having like second Thanksgiving. Ugh. But no, I think
my wife's side of the family, I don't know, they have this kind of fear that they'll run out of food. So that is never a problem. It's like you'll add up how many people are going to be somewhere, and then you'll see all the meats that were cooked, and it's like 6 pounds per person. I was like, this doesn't add up. I was like, it's fine. But usually, like if you're eating dinner over there, like, hey, take this extra turkey home. It's like not part, not some scraps off of it, but an entire turkey.
We do the turkey and then the honey baked ham. I don't know if that's a thing out there.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. That's classic. I always say too, like I had an aunt growing up who would take the sugared part of the top of the honey baked ham and throw it away. So my dad and I would be like, sneak in and steal it. It's the best part of the ham. But again, it goes to the thing. Like I remember, like at Christmas time, my mom's best friend, we go to their house at the grandparents' house for Christmas Eve, and the second part of Christmas Eve was at my mom's best friend's, and they had like the Italian Christmas Eve, so it was like lasagna and pasta and like sometimes pizza, like all kinds of like sauce type food, which was for me was like, oh, that's cool. But Thanksgiving was like holidays. I would say it's a lot of fun. It's like just eating. My sister does this thing every year where she gives us all like these fake leaves to write down what we're thankful for. I always write down I'm thankful this is once a year. But no, it's I'll be thankful. It won't be a gobbledygooker cycle if I can hit a 501 again.
Yeah.
Or 521.
I think we got it. Somewhere in here. One of these 24.
I feel like what we have now is, again, I was talking to one of the guys that wanted to come back, and we were talking about, he's like, all the holds. And I said, well, watch this show. I said, really? I said, if nothing else, it just gives you some kind of like ideas of how to think about what might happen. And if you go with that, you might be okay. We'll see. So,
like I said, two cycles in a row, we've had it narrowed down to somewhere in this like 20 to 30 range, and we had the 501 in it.
Yeah.
So, it's just unfortunately we had to make a few more decisions and missed, but it's close. It's there.
Well, we hope everyone.
The fact you can count it. So.
Right. We hope everyone does well. We're about out of time, so we're going to end it. But I do want to say happy birthday to Scott. So it's his birthday today. So hopefully get back in the game. But going to be a big cycle, lots going on. So shush. We will give it a go. But cross fingers, make the right pick.
Yep.
So all right, till next time. This has been the Goal Strategy Workshop. We'll catch you guys later. Thanks, Mike.
See you.